Hello there. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Will Bay, and I want to thank you guys for stopping by the collection room today. This is pretty special to me. A while back, in the last year or so, I sold a whole bunch of my comics just to kind of get by and to clear out room and to do a bunch of things that I needed done financially and space-wise. And one of the books that I sold was all of my set of Alpha Flights, and I was kind of regretting that, and I was feeling very sorry, and I was like, man, I miss Alpha Flight. And I contacted an old friend of mine. I was telling him, because he was also in the process of getting rid of a few things. I said, yeah, I really miss my old Alpha Flights. And he's just like, you know what? I'm getting rid of a set. I can send you quite a few. And so he sent me quite a few Alpha Flights, and he said, I'm going to just fill the box with it, whatever else. What would you like? And I said, I have no idea. I've lost so many comics the last couple of years. I wouldn't even know where to begin from what I had. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to fix you up a box and I'll send it to you. So I'm going to see what he sent me, and you guys are going to see it too, because I just want to see. He sent me 28 pounds of comics. That's how much was in this box. We're going to flip it down. This showed up yesterday, and we're going to find out what's in here. I did not have a chance to do it yesterday. I pulled all the labels off this time because the last time I opened a big box, I left all sorts of information sitting on the top there at one point a while back. Actually, it's just my address here. All right, so we're going to see what Scott sent me. And Horace Comics, Make a Friend on 27th Street, a book of comic strips by MC Lars. If you guys are not familiar with MC Lars, he is a nerdy white rapper who does some hilarious, great stuff. This Gigantic Robot Kills was one of my favorite albums. No Logo is my favorite song by MC Lars. So if you're interested in that, go for it. Looks like we get Terminator, The Enemy Within, 1 of 4. Couple variant, Terminator Secondary Objectives, 1 of 4. Couple of cool looking Terminator books. We get Strike Force America. I have not heard of that, but it's a Comico. I love Comico stuff, and this one is sealed with a card, so that's pretty cool. We get Striker from Viz Comics, The Armored Warrior. Looks like a manga title. And he sent me the Texas Chainsaw Samurai, a Solson Publications. You don't see very many Solson stuff out there. I'm glad to see that. I almost forgot all about Solson stuff because I don't have any anymore. But I'm very pleased that he sent me a Solson title. Nightmare on Elm Street, The Beginning. That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Scott. That is awesome. Awesome. Nightmare on Elm Street. I did not even know that they made Nightmare on Elm Street comics on the regular, so that's interesting to me. Cerebus, I always love Cerebus. This is Cerebus number 41. Looks like an original printing, not a reprint. Cerebus 66, this would be the time of Church and State, because it looks like he's the Pope at this point. Cerebus 68, Another Thing Coming. Ignore, it's just another reality. Cerebus. Looks like you got this at a place that puts stickers on them, but still, it's cool. I love Cerebus stuff. Cerebus, sane as it ever was. Number 70. Looks like still in the time of Church and State. 71. Cerebus 73. Cerebus 74. Looks like he's giving me a pretty good stack of Cerebus stuff. And I love Cerebus books. Like, I've read all the way through most of the series. I used to have it on big, thick trade paperbacks, but my dog peed on them. Strange Embrace. Not one I'm familiar with, but it has an interesting look to it. Stupid Heroes. Next Comics number 1. Peter Laird's Stupid Heroes. Never heard of Stupid Heroes from Peter Laird, and I've never heard of Next Comics, so that's a mark for a book I haven't had before. Stupid Rat Tales. Probably some Bone side stories. I love Bone, the comic book. I got a big thick trade. Actually, I use it to hold my camera with at all times. So Stupid Rat Creatures. That would be a spin-off title that I haven't heard of, but I'm glad to see it. The Superior. I think I've seen this cover, but I have not seen the comic. Like, I ever held one or seen it anywhere. I've seen this picture of it somewhere. The Starcore Saga and introducing Onslaught. Looks like something different. There's more Cerebus on this other side. So we've got issue 85 with Mick Jagger. 86. Looks like we're gonna have some content with the Moon Roach in there. Love that guy. 87. 90. We might just, oh, it looks like we got a pretty good slice. We're just gonna grab these all out. Okay, so we got 91. And these are, like I said, this is by far, I've had trades, I've hardly had any actual just regular issues in hand. So 92, 94, and I believe these are, when it's got that sticker on it, I'm pretty sure those come from, oh, what's the place? Half Price Books. I know they sell a lot of comics there. That's actually a really good Cerebus cover, issue number 1. Walking on the Moon. This after Church and State, so I'm pretty sure Church and State is over, and this is his long talk with this guy on the moon, which takes like several issues. We got Sword of Swashbucklers from Epic Comics, a Marvel imprint. Have not heard of that one, but that looks really cool. Looks like we get another issue of it. Sword of Swashbucklers. Is that her head shaped like that? That is. Oh, it's her hair cut away. She has a weird hairline. Okay, that's odd. Another Nightmare on Elm Street from Innovation, issue number 5. Of course, I'm thrilled. Of all my favorite like horror films, I'm gonna say Nightmare on Elm Street number 1 is probably in my top 5 pretty easily. I was always a bigger fan of like Halloween and Scream movies and older zombie films, but Nightmare on Elm Street was one of the first ones I ever saw. Definitely the first slasher film I ever saw. My Aunt Michelle let me watch it when I was way too young. Madman Comics number 13. I just did a video on Michael Allred stuff. I love Michael Allred, so that's great to see that. Looks like we get more Madman. We get 15, 14. Number 6, The Puke. Oh man, if there's one in here that's got like, oh, who are they? The G-Men from Hell. Yes, G-Men from Hell Part 3. Look, any books with the G-Men from Hell, I'm going to be satisfied. I'm very excited about that. So. Ecstatics number 1. I think I might still have a copy of this, but I'm not positive. Go down on this side. They're deep in there, guys. There's a lot of books in here. Grendel. I have a few Grendels. I can't remember if I have these or not. Grendels are always an interesting title to read. I used to have her action figure. That's pretty cool. Grendel number 8. Comico stuff. I do love me some Comico books. Brat Pack. I have heard of this. I've heard of it as one of like the worst, nastiest, strangest comics ever. I don't know, but I got 1, 2 of that. Dragon Force, an Aracel comic. I love Aracel stuff. It's very hard to find, and it's, if you do see it, it's pretty amazing. It's usually got really intense art in the black and white stuff, but very cool. I'm gonna do off this side for a little bit. Siphons, a Now Comics number 1. That's cool. Have not heard of that one. Tail Gunner number 1 of 6. 4 of 6. I think I have a couple issues of Tail Gunner, so that might complete me out of set or get close. Sunrunners by Amazing Comics. I know I had at least one issue of this because it's in everybody's collection, but I don't have this issue, so that's excellent. Another Nightmare on Elm Street, The Beginning, issue book 2. Cerebus number 77, The End of Church and State. Cerebus 80, Praise Tarim, It's the Thing. 109, man, he hooked me up with a lot of Cerebus comics. That is very nice. Looks like he packed the ends with trades. So I get X-Files, Night Lights. Back to the Future. This thing is sealed. That is impressive. IDW. I don't love IDW, but I will probably love that. Untold Tales and Alternate Timelines. This should make my other friend Justin very jealous, so it's worth it just for that. Groom Lake. Have not heard of that. Looks very interesting. It has a lot of pinup artwork stuff in the back. Supergirl. Volume 1, The Girl of Steel. If this is, I don't think this is New 52. Nope. But I've been getting more and more into Supergirl recently, and it was very nice of him to send me a big chunk of Supergirl. And this is really good looking Supergirl, so even though I'm not wild on trades, this is a pretty cool trade. I will definitely read it. I've become less picky about it because I do enjoy it. Wow, another Back to the Future trade. That is impressive. And still sealed. He's treating me well here. And what do we got in here? I'm starting to see some Alpha Flights poking their head up out of here. Let's see what we got. Another issue of Dragon Force, Aerocell number 6. Dragon Force, Aerocell number 8. And there we've hit them. I have to make some room because there's a lot of books in here. And I don't have room even on this table for all of them. And my friend spent a good chunk of cash sending me these comics. He did not want anything in return, but he sent me a lot of books. I am very happy about that. We're gonna just pull these out. See what we got here. That's, my goodness, what a pile. It looks like he got us a nice copy of Alpha Flight number 1, and thank you so much, Scott. As I'd said, I had missed this series, this being one of the first series that I ever completed, like the whole thing, that was of any decent size. And I traveled around to comic book stores, and I got these in the mid-90s out of quarter bins, back when they had quarter bins. I put together the entire collection of Alpha Flight for no more than 50 cents an issue. Except for one issue, I had to go and buy it from a back issue store that was like $4.50, and I complained because it was highway robbery. It was issue number 12. But yeah, issue number 1. Give me issue number 2. These are the good old John Byrne stuff. Issue number 3. I've always loved that cover with Aurora. Looks like it bounces around here. Number 4 with Marina. 5 with a good Puck cover. 6 with a good Snowbird cover. 7 with another good Aurora cover, because Aurora was kind of just crazy. 8. And I used to just absolutely love Canada. I found it so fascinating. I always used to watch the Red Green Show, and anything I could find with Canada was cool to me. And so getting my hands on Alpha Flight and tracking them all down, that was like such a huge comic book victory, and one of the very, very big goals that I had early on in collecting was to have all 130 issues of Alpha Flight. And I acquired it, and I remember in my early 20s, I sold all my comics, pretty much all of them, at one point to buy an engagement ring for a girl, and that fell through. That didn't pan out, so I was left with just a pile of cash and no comics. And I was pretty okay with that for about 10 years, 12 years, 15 years maybe. And I ended up buying, when I moved to Alamogordo here in New Mexico, I ended up buying a bunch of private collections and inventory from old store. And boom, I had a full set of Alpha Flights again. I actually had more than a full set, and I ended up giving quite a few of them away. We had a friend come over for Thanksgiving one year, and he was just getting into comics, and I was like, here man, I got extras. I gave him the first 30 issues of Alpha Flight to get him rolling and all that stuff. And here I am a few years later. I had to sell all my stuff to get through a tough time, and so to see these again, and I'm gonna definitely have to reread through these. Alpha Flight and the X-Men, because this will be the third time of rebuilding my Alpha Flight collection, and that's kind of crazy if I think about it, but it is. I guess me and Alpha Flights are just gonna always kind of be a thing. I'm gonna always have to have my collection of Alpha Flights. I got issue 20, and I don't think I've missed a gap yet. And I'm not going to say Alpha Flight was like a brilliant series. There was a lot of weird kind of hack writing to it. The Byrne stuff right off in the early times was good, but like the death of Mac Hudson was terribly written. He died, and then he came back, and then that was a lie, and then he came back again, and then they retconned that to be right, and it was ridiculous. Some of the characters, my least favorite was always this guy named Mannequin, who could and he came along late in Alpha Flight, but he could grow like 3 different historical versions of himself, and it was really terrible. I always liked Diamond Lil. For some reason, they tend to usually write female superheroes all very similarly, in my opinion, personality-wise, but Diamond Lil, for some reason, struck me as this, she reminded me more of Marion from the Indiana Jones movies. Like really tough, kind of bitter, snarky, type gal. And I always thought that was cool because that doesn't always shine through in a lot of characters. And Aurora was always like crazy and slutty at the same time. Not every character plays that to the degree that she did, and it does it very well, So there was some stuff in here that I really did like, and there's some of it was like not so well written, but you gotta take what you get. I absolutely was thrilled. I remember reading when Heather starts wearing the Vindicator suit, and I thought that was just awesome. And I like how she's, I don't know, she's not like a bombshell. You'd always say like Jean Grey is like a redheaded bombshell, but Heather Hudson was never like, she just had those nasty huge 70s glasses and was never conventionally as attractive as all these other superhero women in what I always gathered. So I don't know, for some reason I just really liked her, so I was thrilled when she became the leader. Issue 35. Yeah, and this video is running long because there is a lot of books here. 36. So when you look at it, 28 pounds of comics. He spent over $50 to ship them here. He is a hero to me. Thank you so much, Scott. I can't believe it. I also loved it when Snowbird, who always turns into like mythical or creatures, turns into a Sasquatch, because Sasquatches are a real creature. And I loved that. Like, oh, It's a real creature. Well, that's how. Because it's a real creature. Issue 40, Marvel did this a lot with stuff. I got 2 different issues. 40, I've got newsstand, which is a little bit rougher, and I've got a direct edition. I'm not picky either way on those, but you know, just for posterity, I've got both. Alpha Flight number 41. This is the cover I always think of when I think of Alpha Flight for some reason. North Star, face punching an alligator. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know, it always kind of cracks me up. 42. 43. And here we go. We can start getting to white Sasquatch. And basically, Snowbird and Walter Langowski, the Sasquatch, I think they kind of combine characters for quite some time. If I remember right. It's been many years since I read these. And that's where we get Sasquatch, who looks just like Sasquatch, but he's a woman instead of a man. And he's white, or she's white. So this one was weird, if I remember right. It was like bodies moved in a root cellar or something, if I correctly recall. Box was always an interesting character. White Sasquatch always reminded me of Wendigo. I hate this guy. Like, he was so gross. I don't know why they gave this book an F. I'd give it an A. Issue 50, special double-size issue with Loki. It's always got to be good when Loki shows up at your book to give you trouble. Hold on, did I miss an issue? I just noticed I've got one sitting over here. I may have one out of sequence. Yes, I missed issue 44. Now it's in place. Now they're in order. Perfect. Alpha Flight flashback, and of course, Wolverine Logan was running with him. And then, of course, they changed his name to James Howlett, ruined his history, and made him lame. There we go. But yeah, I always thought Alpha Flight would be cooler. Anytime he visits Alpha Flight, because, you know, he was in all of the books in the 90s. He'd show up everywhere all the time. It was so annoying. But it made such perfect sense whenever he showed up in Alpha Flight. This is Tundra. He is literally the tundra that comes alive and is a giant monster. Basically a kaiju land mass of swamp and cold water. It's pretty cool. 56, Sasquatch. 57, Against a Living World. 2 issues of 58, both direct editions. I guess Scott did not save himself any doubles. Issue 59, Puck's back as an old full-size man. I remember this was kind of a lame issue. I remember this Nightmare Dream World lady. She was pretty interesting. Got issue 60, 61. Then what happens? It looks, 62, the Purple Man, who is an absolutely horrifying villain. 63, Box versus the U.S. Air Force. We still have one more stack here, folks. I can't believe it. We got an Alpha Flight Special, number 2. We've got Alpha Flight 0, fan page version. Alpha Flight 64. Still fighting Tundra, which Tundra is just cool. Basically take the swamp thing and make him Godzilla-sized. Major Box. 66. I can't remember how many he said he had that he was sending me. So 64, part 1 of 4. 2 of 4. The Fear Dream Queen Lady. 3 of 4. Talisman makes her stand against nightmares. 4 of 4. Issue 70. Get the little sticker over here. I'm pretty sure that's 71. A little bit different art style on that one. And once again there, it's just a little, like it's a little rushed. Issue 73, Alpha Flight, The Dead End. Diamond Lil choking the crap out of Spider-Man, because she can. What are you going to do about it? 75. I always liked her costume too. It reminds me of the old red and yellow Jessica Drew Spider-Woman outfit, only like worse colors, but still the same kind of vein there. Issue 75, All Out War. 76, we finally get Gamma Flight. There's Wild Child. A few other characters from there that I did appreciate. What issue was that? 76. Now we get into some gaps. He said he didn't have a complete run, but he had a really good start for me. So there's issue 81. 82 looks like it has a little bit of water damage, but you know what? I don't care. It's not going to get resold again. It's just going to get picked up, read, and preserved. Because I've decided the third time is the charm. I'm not getting Alpha Flights again. Issue 85. Issue 91. It's always good when Doom shows up. 92, Guardian vs. Vindicator. I remember liking that cover. And also 94's cover. Just the two different kinds of oranges combating each other was quite well done there. 95. Pretty close to having a full set here, Scott. You've done amazingly for me. To Alpha's Eternal Regret, the Master of the World is Reborn. That was their main villain. Not my favorite villain, but you know, it is what it is. Omega Flight, which if I remember right, that was just nasty villain team. But Alpha Flight 110. Once you cross over that issue 100s in a lot of books, it's always pretty cool. I like that scary mutant Cyclops. 116, I can't remember that dude's name. 119, guest stars The Wrecking Crew. Now we're getting very close to the end here now. Yeah, issue 120. 122, an Infinity Crusade crossover. 124, this crossover is killing me. I think that's Ravenge. I can't remember who that is. 127, this ain't no pillow fight. Let's fight with X Factor. I kind of feel like X Factor could definitely hold their own against them. And we got the last issue, No Future, which, as we know, Alpha Flight did eventually have a future later. They did get a second run and maybe even a third run, and their books haven't gone away completely. Looks like we get a giant size annual number 2. I don't have all the annuals. I'm not too worried about the annuals. I never really was too particular about collecting annuals. But I'm glad I got the special in this little issue number 1. And I'm glad for all the other stuff he sent, because it is an impressive pile. Very impressive pile of comics. Oh, a very nice stack of Cerebus. And some brand new Back to the Futures. So that is it. That is my haul. That is what my friend sent me. Just out of friendship, out of love. Knowing that I'd gone through some hard spots and really missed my Alpha Flights, and I've been slowly maybe picking up a few books here and there. I know I'm not ever going to collect and get back to where I was, and I can accept that. There's just some stuff, you know, you're not going to get back. But Alpha Flight seems to be one that just, no matter how many times I cast it upon the water, it does return to me. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have a giant box of comics that you'd like to send me, you can do that. But otherwise, thank you, Scott, very much. And thank you all for watching. And I really appreciate it. This meant a lot to me, and I'm just incredibly grateful. So clocking at 30 minutes here, so I'm going to let you guys go. But I don't know what else to say. That's my story. Catch you guys later.